there been more name recognition, program recognition coming off of a bowl season?
Oh, absolutely. The surprising thing in the areas that I recruit outside the state, I have Central Florida and Georgia. The response was overwhelmingly positive. People got a chance to see us and they understand. Here's the comment that I got most often from the high school coaches out of state. You guys are doing it the right way. Love the way you play, the energy your players play with, and you're doing it the right way.
Coach, did you guys visit anywhere, any other schools goes to see, from a special team standpoint, anywhere that, you went?
No, we didn't. What typically will happen, individual coaches will go out and visit with specific staffs, but we didn't get together as a special teams unit, Dex or I, and go out and meet with anyone. We have shared some ideas with some people that we've met, on the road recruiting, and we kind of like some things that we saw from them. So although we didn't specifically meet with anyone, we have exchanged some ideas.
Do you have a huddle?
We'll see. Yeah, I think the guys will be fine, and I'm sure Coach Dex will say the same thing. This camp will be about evaluating all aspects, and obviously the best player is going to end up lining up for us.
Coach, with the kickoff rule changes, how does that change your off-season preparation from a special teams standpoint with the yardage changing and all that kind of stuff?
Well, because this is the first year of this rule, and there's not a lot of information from the NFL that we can carry over to us. The first game or two will be very important for us for some of the things that we've thought about might happen. Questions like, how many of our kickers in the ACC can consistently put the ball 3-5 yards deep in the end zone, and that in turn will affect your kickoff return planning and preparation. And likewise, what we'll do on the kickoff team, can we find a guy that can consistently place it there? And if we can't, then it'll affect our thought process on covering kicks.
When you've got a young secondary, does that change what you're going to ask the linebackers to do as far as maybe covering more?
Well, throughout the offseason, and there's no secret that Steve Greer and Leroy Reynolds have played, in a few games here and should be leaders for our defense. They have kind of grabbed those young secondary guys and kind of pulled them along. And so as we get into the course of the season, hopefully the communication between both ends will be such that, we're on the same page. We understand, you got some young guys, and so we'll see.
How about
Is Henry going to continue to play Mike in addition to playing Sam?
Well, we'll see how that plays out. But one of the things that, and this is just my personal beliefs, that if you understand what the other guys around you are doing, it will make you a better player. And so as I teach the linebackers, I try to teach it conceptually, all three spots to the guys, so that they understand what the Sam, what the Mike, what the Will is going to do. And it's been helpful because there are certain times where you never know during the course of a season a guy goes down, and now you have someone who's been listening to the coaching points, and it's not like it's completely new to them.
with Henry? We didn't talk about him a lot last year, probably because of the injury. But what did it mean for him to get that experience late in the year?
It was huge for him, and hopefully it'll pay big dividends for us. He's a smart kid. He's tough. He's got the athleticism. And so now it's just opportunity. It's just opportunity to go out and show what you're capable of doing.
How about on the pass rush? Is that something you'd like to see your guys involved in?
Well, we don't get a chance to rush the passer as much as they would like, but when we do, we've had some success, and it doesn't reflect necessarily specifically in the throwing game in terms of sacks, but in terms of pressure, and then when we're coming off the edge in the run game, our guys have made some significant plays for us.
Is that tougher to do in the age of spread offensively?
It is, and because of the scheme that we play out of, our guys just don't, they just don't get the opportunity to come off the edge very much in passing situations.
Could you talk about Romero and the transition he had to make?
It was a very difficult transition for him, understandably so, because, here was a young man that had played with his hand down his whole high school career, and all of a sudden now you have to be able to key and diagnose, blocking schemes and route combinations, and it just doesn't happen overnight. He made significant progress. We're really anticipating him contributing and being a big part of what we want to do at the linebacker corps this season.
Is your preference to have 3 guys out there all the time, or would you like to see some rotation?
I would like to find the best 3 and play with them, but ultimately Coach Reed and Coach London kind of decides, here's, I want to see this guy. We need to get him more ready. And it kind of goes back to preparing players for the long haul. If you just go with the same 3 guys, someone goes down, this guy's never been in the game.
DJ Hill was one of the true freshmen who played last year, but I think it was mostly on special teams. Where is he in his evolution as a linebacker?
He's working hard, and he's going to be a fine player here. But again, that's one of the more difficult spots, linebacker, because of all the the nuances of playing the position.
Afternoon, people. Sorry I'm late.
Now that you're both here, can you brief us on where the kicking game stands, who you're looking at going into camp?
You're looking at the punter and the kicker right here. I'm gonna kick. Nah, we got Ian Fry, Drew Jarrett, Dylan Sims as a first-year student. Punter-wise, we got Alec. I'll be telling you a lie if I said his last name. It'd be all kind of messed up. But Bosey and Coleman coming in as a rookie, and Conte. So it's gonna be competition early on, and hopefully in a few weeks here we can name the starters at the spots.
Coach Laser mentioned planning out some of the early practices to make sure certain QBs get certain reps. Do you do the same thing with kickers?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it'd be no doubt.
You just talk about those plans a little bit.
Well, it'd be more like the spring, where we charted them every day, even when they weren't kicking in practice, or even when we weren't doing those drills in practice. And we'll chart them, we'll film them, then we try to put them out there live in front of the team, and we see who can perform, just like any other position.
One of the things Coach London does a tremendous job with is putting those guys in pressure situations in practice, and so, guy could kick however many yards when no pressure's on, but now you got the whole team and Coach London standing there yelling at you, you got to make the kick, so that kind of goes into it also.
How does he manufacture the pressure? Is it like if he makes it, you don't run kind of thing, or?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, and or if he makes it, we'll run less of than we were gonna run.
How do you guys critique technique of the kicker? Have you, being new to the special team role, especially have you done anything this summer to, research, what it takes to be a quality kicker?
No, we try to get the best ones, and we got different kicking gurus that you go to get these kids from, and you talk to them about what the technique supposed to look like, and you try to get just a good feel for it. But you try to get one just know what he's doing really. Most of them just really good at their craft. They just like a baseball hitter. They can just hit. You can tweak it a little bit, but they just know what they're doing. So we just try to find that, and then if we can help them in any kind of way, we can. But if they all out of whack, me and Brown gonna be lost with them.
That's right.
Poindexter,
And I ain't nervous of y'all. I just been working out, and I ain't know y'all ain't got the AC on in here, man. I know budget cuts happening and all that.
2 years ago, you guys scored a bunch of touchdowns off of trick plays.
Yes, sir.
And everybody was calling you a genius.
Yep.
Last year, things didn't go as well with the special teams at times. How hard did you take it? How much did that wear on you?
I mean, you know, we had solid plans in, and you know, we had a lot of young kids out there. But you know, sometimes the team, you know, every year you're not going to be able to create that many trick plays on special teams. Other teams got projectors as well, so you know, we had a few here and there, and you know, sometimes you execute them, sometimes you don't. You know, 2 years ago, our kids executed every last one on perfect, and the situation just happened right. You know, last year, you know, just a few times they caught us a little bit, but you know, obviously the block punts at the bowl game, block punt against Idaho, stuff that we got to fix. I think, you know, it ain't no glaring flaws within what we doing. It's just we just got to do better. Me as a coach, and you know, we got to get guys that can perform at the positions.
Do you prefer having more experienced guys who regularly play on special teams as opposed to guys who don't get to play that much?
You would like to. I mean, but last year, you know, we used a lot of young kids, but those young kids on offense and defense helped us win games. We won 8 games last year from 4 the year before. You know, but you put them out there on special teams, it's a totally different beast. I mean, it's open field. I mean, it's full speed sprinting. You know, there's nowhere to hide. So, you know, a couple of them struggled a little bit, but, you know, hopefully we're going to reap the benefits from having them all out there last year, you know. You know, everybody was on my hind part. They were shaving me down because I had Dominic Terrell back there returning punts. But, you know, I just remember being a young player. And George Wells stuck me out on the field. And, yeah, I got burnt, you know, a few times. And, you know, I think my career turned out all right. So, you know, hopefully, you know, I didn't want to crush the kid's spirits by saying, man, you know, he dropped one punt. Oh, Lord, the sky falling, you know. So you just try to, you know, on-the-job training for the kid. You know, we didn't have – ain't like we had Devin Hester standing on the sideline, you know, just trying to get – you know, so, hey, we was trying to get something happening, and I think the kid did a great job. And, you know, hopefully we'll reap the benefits this year from all those young kids playing on special teams for us.
I remember George Wells sticking you back there returning punts.
He had me – one game he had me return kicks. They just didn't kick it to me. Thank goodness.
Speaking of kickoff returns, you got good production from Shepard and Jennings.
Right.
Do they go into camp as kind of the number ones there, or is that
Yeah,
wide open?
we set the depth chart with them as 1 and 2, but I mean, again, DJ gonna get a lot of reps. We're trying to get Khalid, you know, into the game, you know, as far as offensively. So I mean, we got it probably 8, 9 guys. I think we're gonna feel pretty good about being back there, but you know, so we'll just see. You know, we'll test that. It might be a insignificant thing if everybody just kicking the ball through the end zone. You know, now that the ball moved up. So, but we'll see who we got. We got some guys that be able to do the job.
Has your philosophy for returners changed since the ball comes out to the 25 now? So there's that gray spot on whether to ring it out or not? Do you have a different opinion now?
Yeah,
or?
well, I think it's always the same spot that we had before. You know, about midway through back in the end zone, you probably say take a knee. You know, if ball was just gonna come out to the 20, you might say, well, if we got a really good returner, let's go ahead and bring it out 5 yards deep. But now you're gonna get it at the 25. You know, if I asked Bill Lazor, would you take the 25 every time? He probably said, yeah, let's take the 25. So, you know, but I think each game will be different and based on who the kicker is.
Speaking of changing philosophies, I know some programs have gone sort of more away from trying to block punts because of the 3-man shield back
Right.
there, and those guys are generally really good coverage guys. So I guess the philosophy is if you can set up a really good return and block 7 or 8 guys, you got a chance to get a good one. You guys sort of fall in line with that sort of philosophy, trying to get away from blocking punts as much and set up a good return now, or what?
Go ahead, man.
One of the things that we want to be able to do is to keep the hidden yardage that occurs when the ball is on the ground and rolling 10, 15 yards, minimize those things from happening. So, you know, the emphasis will be we want to try to catch every single punt. Every single one, we want to try to catch them. And, you know, if we don't get a return going, so be it. I think you have to be flexible in your approach and say you always want to have, you know, something in your package to go after people. There will be occasions where you'll need to do that, and so we'll be flexible on both ends. We want to catch every punt, maintain yardage. We want to get returns going, but yet, you know, we don't want our opponent to sit back there comfortable either.
On the other end, have you reconsidered the rugby punt after the couple blocks
what you had last year, or is that something you continue to?
Well, the two of them were just, we were standing back there, but the one in the end zone, you know, I didn't rethought it, and I told Vince the other day, I'm like, this one been haunting me for a while, but I mean, on paper, you should be able to block it. You know, now obviously there's some things that happen, and there's some pretty big people was coming after the guy, so you know, but we got to be better at, you know, the timing between the long snapper and the punter, getting the ball kicked on time. I mean, it's only so long they're gonna be able to protect, and I think, you know, we kind of got a little away from the timing of the long snapper and the punter. So if we on time, you almost can let everybody go free. You know, I mean, almost. But you know, so we're gonna stress that hard in training camp, and you know, again, you know, either way you look at it, you know, those are momentum changes in the game. You know, I just said, you know, we at the bowl game we just did too many things on special teams that, you know, didn't help us win the game. You know, and probably helped more of us caused us to lose the game. You know, 2 block punts, 1 in the end zone. You know, kick the ball out of bounds. You know, let a long return out, missed tackle. I mean, just stuff that, you know, you hope you're gonna get better at. But again, these guys more mature. Half of the guys, you almost had to slap them on the sideline at the Georgia Dome because I mean, one is Auburn, the defending national champ. Then you look up, it's the Georgia Dome. I mean, those kids were a little bit nervous. I remember my first game in the Georgia Dome, so you know.
Last year you said you wanted the long snapper to be better than the orange cone.
Mm-hmm. He was. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Demanding more than orange cone dominance this year. Now he's got some experience under his belt.
Well, I think this kid, he might be the most valuable person in the McHugh Center. I mean, if you just look at the way he snapped the ball last year for having, I didn't look at him for the first 4 games. I couldn't even look at him on game day, man. I was just terrified, you know. But I thought if I said something to him, he might say it once. So I didn't. He came walking towards me, I walked the other way. But he a good kid. He really take pride in what he do. You know, if you just look at all our snaps last year, they all on point. I mean, I punter, holder, rarely had to move off the spot. And, you know, hopefully he can continue to do that. You know, if he making a lot of tackles on our punt coverage, we got problems anyway. You know, that's why you go to the shield punt for those, the other 6 people that's up on the line of scrimmage can really get down and make things happen. And, you know, we got a few wrinkles we'll put in on punt to try to, you know, get certain guys to the ball, guys that we know can make the tackle or either cause a fair catch. But, you know, I think he was excellent last year, and we're looking for him to have another great year.